Bakugo reminds me of Seta Kaiba. Stay with me here. I like Bakugo, and while there are plenty of videos online deconstructing why people love him or hate him, each making cases for each camp, he's one of my favorite characters in My Hero Academia. While writing another video, it hit me. Katstuki Bakugo reminds me of one of my favorite characters, Seta Kaiba, with his crippling inferiority complex yet massive superiority complex. Now, technically, a superiority complex is an attitude of superiority which conceals real feelings of inferiority and failure, which in my opinion fits Katsuki, considering himself hot stuff growing up only to find out he's not the chosen one, but one of many. Where the inferiority comes in is an unrealistic feeling of general inadequacy, a doubt and uncertainty about oneself, and feelings of not measuring up to standards. His standards, being the best, number one, not seeing all that he's accomplished and how great he is, but focusing on his failures while reminding everyone and himself of his greatness. Enter Seta freaking Kaiba. One of the main characters in the original Yu-Gi-Oh series, Kaiba played the series' first antagonist and eventual rival to the series' protagonist, Yugi Moto. Kaiba being the yin to Yugi's yang, as well as one of the biggest assholes in anime. He's cocky, egotistical, brash, rude, and consistently puts others down to raise himself above all. I mean, he's a young trillionaire and owner of a global company that revolutionizes technology, but still, he's beaten by another that keeps surpassing him. A chosen one that keeps handing him his ass, and he seems to be always one step ahead of him. This cannot stand for Kaiba, a self-proclaimed genius and #1 duelist in the world, who, by the way, built an artificial intelligence besides being a wonder of modern science, is programmed to remind him of his genius. Behind all those bricks of bravado and pretentiousness that build his castle walls to keep people out and beneath him are his insecurities, his doubts, his fears. For Bakugo and Kaiba, being number 2 disrupts their perception of their greatness. While Kaiba is far more charming than Bakugo and has some modicum of class and composure, I just saw Yu-Gi-Oh! Shattered Dimensions, where the whole movie was basically Kaiba shouting, "Do you know who the hell I am? F you, fight me." His pure ego in trying to run it back and beat Yugi to prove that he's better has him breaking through dimensions, rules of time, space, and any other obstacle just to prove that he's #1. What I love about this is that it's not even that rare, which is why I think this is a part of the reason why fans like Bakugo. They see something in him, something familiar. He spouts he's the best because he feels like the worst. He has crippling self-doubts and is desperate to prove himself, namely becoming the next #1 hero in waiting, not letting others, especially that weakling Midoriya, beat him to it. While you have Kaiba trying to get the title of the King of Games and prove his superiority to himself and others. These kinds of characters proclaimed high opinions of themselves are meant to mask their sense of failure and rejection. For Bakugo, his perceived failure is being saved by quirkless Midoriya, then later beaten by newly superpowered Deku, as well as his feelings of rejection for his idol All Might confiding in, as well as choosing Deku as his successor. Both of these characters, well, actually all these types of characters, tend to lift themselves up by suppressing others. A classic version of this character, and also one of my other favorites, which I guess says something about me, is Vegeta. Throughout the Dragon Ball series, he is the elite of the elite, the crown prince of all Saiyans. Frieza may have stomped out his entire race, but at least he's the strongest Saiyan left. Except for Goku, who always is one step ahead of him, forever standing against everything he spouts. He can't be the best with Goku always surpassing him. A low-class warrior who time and time again exceeds even Vegeta's standards and expectations, ripping apart his pride. Katsuki has always been told as a child of how impressive he is. Now he's in a school, the school, where there are others just as powerful, just as intelligent and capable as he. But Midoriya becomes his lightning rod for all of his insecurities. He is a constant reminder that he isn't at the top of the totem pole, so he thrashes about trying to prove himself like Kaiba and Vegeta before him. While I do love these characters, I completely understand that they have various qualities that make them who they are and more likable. But I find a combination of having both an inferiority and superiority complex seen by anime rivals attractive kinda. And in most of these series, I tend to be drawn to these characters with their feelings of profound inferiority hidden behind their narcissism and swagger. I did not cover everyone who fits this characterization, but if you can't think of anyone else, please let me know down in the comment section below, and see ya.